we know we suck at running our recruiting team. We've had how many people have changed? I think when we took over recruiting, we had four people.
More than four. Four.
Four on our internal recruiting team, and then we had campus captains, like 10 people that we work with. So around 15 people that we work closely with on recruiting during that seasons, and suck at it. The first time we did recruiting, it was really bad. We didn't do a good job. It was
like it wasn't bad in the sense like the event was bad. It was just like
internally
in
the way
terms
we
of
ran
like
it.
owning
Dynamics.
recruiting.
Yeah.
It was like Greg and Tom are owning, and we are like their hands. Like it ran more of that because like it's one thing to be like, okay, there are like a lot of changes being made.
Right.
So it's just like Greg and Tom had to step up because it's like we're not in a place where we can just like, okay, this is how we need to like recruit.
Right.
So it was good that way, but the bad about that was like where we were comfortable just like running around doing things versus like helping Greg and Tom and being like, okay, this is what our analysis is. Like use it for let's use it for super Saturday. We never did that because we were so stuck in this like in the details.
Stars.
Like at one point, like at one hand, like I don't see it like a completely bad thing because it was our first time doing recruiting too. So we had to like get a flavor of like, okay, what other tasks for like going forward, so we can just like make sure the team is not missing it. Like one side it was good, but then like the other side, like we take it to such an extreme.
And that shows up in our team too, the way we run it. We look at our team, we used to look at our team as people who have to do tasks. Recruiting, there's like a bunch of 30, 40 tasks that you need to do. Versus Greg and Tom feel recruiting as owners. We want to feel recruiting as owners. Our team also should feel that recruiting. They should feel ownership for that. Versus looking at this as a task that they need to get done.
Right.
So I think in terms of just summarizing to your question,
so I think like that's something that helped us during our security.
Right.
So just 2-3 weeks back, even the way when we were like, okay, let's talk to these people or the security team. How do we talk to them? Like, how do we make sure we don't pitch it as like, oh, we have to do this task, versus like being like, okay, you guys are owning it. Like even though like security is like we are like looking at overall security, we are relying on your expertise and your help to like make this part stronger.
Right.
So just like even like navigating through that, I think like all that we learned from recruiting, than like just doing it the first time.
Right.
And the other thing that I'll add to that we learned from recruiting that we're using now in security is just transparency. In our first season in recruiting, we were so siloed that no one else except for Ramni and I, Greg and Tom, and our team knew what was going on. And
like recruiting was like the top 3 not working in when New York is there working, not working. Because like people were pissed off and like whatever, but then had like even the top leaders had like no idea like what's going on.
Yeah, because we were not being transparent. We were doing everything.
And when you mean transparent, do you mean like in terms of frequent sharing?
Yeah,
like
frequent sharing.
Like there's so much we changed about Super Saturday. We would just like give them updates as like, hey, this is what changed.
Like an FYI, like this is.
Yeah, just like okay, this is what you need to know before Super Saturday. These are the things this thing. Like we did, like Greg and Tom did a good job in exposing those, but again, like it always went back like they are exposing it. You guys are not. Like it's not like they set the strategy and you need to expose it, but even the work that we were doing, like nobody had any clue like as to like what exactly is going on. So the first thing I think that showed a good sign was like Greg suggested, okay, after post Super Saturday, like people are curious, like okay, who are the candidates, who accepted, who didn't, like what's happening. That usually never happens till like 2 weeks before candidate is joining, or like a few weeks. Like,
no one knows what goes on.
Yeah,
what's happening post.
like if they accepted, they didn't. Like why did they not accept? All of this is like very into recruiting team versus everybody. So he was like, okay, send a mail to like all 3 offices and like tell them what's going on in your guys' work. So we started off that. So that's when like those are the lessons, and then we immediately like got some response like good job, like I love hearing about this, love to know more. That's when we were just like okay, this is valuable, even if we think okay it's not might not be important to them. So just like so from there we just like okay, it's important to be transparent. So now
so you're using that in security.
And I think even in terms of transparency, I think the bigger issue that we struggle with is we knew there was a problem that needs to be fixed. We used to come up with a solution, and then pitch it to people saying, hey, this is the solution to the problem. One, either the solution is wrong, so no one will, you won't have buy-in for that solution, or two, even if the solution is right, you wouldn't know enough because you don't have the experience. You've been here for 2 years, 3 years. There's people who've been here for 10, 15 years who've seen recruiting and who've seen some of the nuances in it. So one thing that we've learned in terms of transparency is just exposing that problem would have so many eyes looking at that problem that you're not the only two people that are siloed thinking about the solution for that problem. That's something that we've learned in recruiting that we are applying to security. We are not experts in security. People in other companies have like 40, 50 years experience in security or running security teams.
Right.
But we don't have that luxury. So how do we make sure that with what we have, we get the best out of it? And one thing that we're doing it is exposing the problem more, so that more eyes can look at it. People who are stakeholders, people who can in some way add feedback, have seen these in the past, can give us feedback so that we can improve on that. So even though we didn't consciously see culture as a practice ground in the beginning of our careers, I think it has helped us in a lot of ways when it actually came for us to own something on revenue that we've learned from culture that we
So it feels like now is your kind of set up to really translate lessons from culture
I think it may even like differ from like setup for each next job. Maybe somebody actually started off as like revenue TPs and didn't have a culture, so their responses might be different than ours. So I think maybe it's like it has a lot to do with like a next job first, like setup and how they went through this.
And it'll be interesting what we do for the next 2-3 months or so, because this is the time where we are owning both security and recruiting revenue culture at the same time, and just to see like real time using recruiting as a practice ground, and how we can use that as in our security and make that better as well.
And is where are things with recruiting? Like, feels like a quiet phase right now?
I think the career phase will start up in September.
Okay.
So we actually started off 2 weeks ago just to like get a lay of the land. We had like a recruiting meeting recently where Greg and Tom like gave us some feedback, so we changed a few things about like how we're approaching it. So we're like getting started now.
Okay. But that will peak in like August, September, October.
Yeah, that will peak, but the idea is to not make sure exactly what you said. We don't want this to be a calm period for the next 2 months or so, because come September or October we'll be scrambling again and looking at this as a bunch of tasks that need to be done. Versus having a strategy, making sure we have things in place well in advance instead of like scrambling towards the last one. So hopefully the next month or so, next 2-3 weeks or so, we get a
once the security, this thing.
Probably right after the PCI audit, but we need to start chipping away. We can't just wait until the audit is done and then look at recruiting. Start chipping away at some of this stuff. It's in motion, and again, it's not just the two of us worrying about recruiting. Have a team of at least 3 or 4 people who are looking at other dimensions in recruiting. Come July 23rd or July 30th, we can all sit together and get better.
Great, thank you. Very, very helpful. Let's see. This is. Let's get to this. This is. I've been asking everyone kind of about like if you had any advice to give to the new folks who are coming, the interns or people who are just joining, about how best to navigate the feedback culture at Next Jump in a way that was most meaningful. What would your advice be? It's a very kind of open-ended question.
Receive and perceive the feedback.
It could be anything. It could be receiving feedback, giving feedback, but Next Jump does have a very unique feedback culture. And so, like, any advice to, if you were to give advice to new people joining, like what? And I'm guessing that's in some sense happening, because I see you guys working very closely with the new set of interns. So maybe it's already happening for you. But like, what does your advice end up being?
First thing that we say is like, if you're looking for a job where you want like come at 9 and leave at 5 and like just do your work and get out, this is not the place for you. Like, do not come here. Like, you hate it. But if you like see, because like most of our hires are college hires, like put this freshly got out of it, college. So it's like, but if you're looking for like a place where you see this as your peak time for